We're doing wildfire watch in the midst of millions out west on the run and focusing on this. It's the Park Fire. It's in the northern part of the state. It's now one of the largest fires in all of California's history. This fire you see here behind me, only 12% contained. It's now approaching 400,000 acres burned. By the way, the man accused of starting this fire will face a judge today, Ronnie Stout, charged with arson. He's accused of pushing a burning car down an embankment before taking off. Our video feeds bring us CBS News Sacramento reporter Rachel Wolf with this report from the fire lines.
We're along Highway 32 just outside Forest Ranch. To put that in perspective, it's about maybe half an hour outside of Chico, north and east of Chico, close to Paradise. This area was a massive firefight last night. We're about 100 feet from the roadway. It's all under mandatory evacuation. And this morning when we arrived, there were hand crews that were working this entire area to stop the fire from jumping Highway 32. It's done that a couple times before, but we're on the canyon side. Big Chico Creek is below us. That's leading to Upper Bidwell Park where the fire started. So it's basically ripped up this canyon, and all of the homes along here have been threatened. And they have done an excellent job. So you can see the hose line here as I'm walking up. You can see little stumps that are smoldering. Every once in a while we'll hear a tree falling. We'll hear a crackling sound and a tree falling. And it's smoky. So the good news is the fire is out. It is still hot. So when I come over here and I stand right here, you can feel that heat coming off the ground. 370,000 acres, the sixth largest wildfire in California history. We don't want to be number 5, but we keep moving up the ladder because the winds have been so strong. There's one thing that I have to say right now is it's still. You don't hear any wind in the trees, and there's a lot of moisture in the air, and it's cooler. These are all important factors that are helping firefighters beat this blaze. Today, a pivotal day, hoping that they can get more than 12% containment and protect even more structures as the firefighting efforts of CAL FIRE and dozens of other agencies all across the state partner together to try to keep this fire at bay. Back to you.
We want to show you this video on our monitors in California. Look at this. This is showing the explosive impact of the largest wildfire burning in the entire United States. I'm literally standing in the midst of that burn scar there. This is what remains in that part of California called the Park Fire, about 90 miles away from California's state capital of Sacramento. This fire is a monster, and right now we can tell you it's approaching nearly 400,000 acres burned. Firefighters say despite their best efforts, they only have it 12% contained. We want to listen right now to this fire behavior expert explaining why this fire in particular has been so explosive.
On the west side of the fire, on branch 5, branch 10, and portions of branch 12, there's abundance of grass. The grass crop in here hasn't been seen for years. There's lava rock all over the place. The lava rock makes it slow progress for us to get in there and cut line. Moving over the top in branch 12, branch 15, and branch 20, we're getting into more of a brush and timber component. Inside of that timber, there's a ton of dented down. Big piles of logging slash, just a high fuel loading there to help the fire create significant growth. Down into branch 25, we then transition from the timber to the brush and get back into that grass and that abundant grass crop.
So hot and a lot of fuel out there. He doesn't have a lot of comforting news for firefighters. They are facing winds that are now blowing embers. Zoe, let's talk to you about that. Wind is definitely the worst enemy of a firefighter next to the actual sparks and fire.
Oh, yes, and the air quality is just absolutely awful. And you can see all of that smoke. It is just pouring, billowing out of the fires that are ongoing all across the West Coast. And those fires and those wildfire smoke that comes along with it is continuing to travel up across the northern parts of the United States. So even if you're not seeing a wildfire around you, you likely are going to be seeing some sort of wildfire smoke. And you might be noticing, why is it leaving out the southern part of the United States? Well, it's all rotating around this area of high pressure, and it will continue to rotate and bring even places like North Carolina.
And there was one bright spot this weekend. We want to show you some happy faces. A mama Rottweiler and her 4 babies, they were found alive in Cohasset, California, not far from Chico. Last Wednesday, their owner was evacuating because of the wildfire. When the truck they were all in broke down, this owner had to leave the truck behind, but did tell first responders where it was. On Sunday, a member of the sheriff's office search and rescue team flew into the area. He then ran 1.5 miles to give the dogs food and water, and then led them on the 1.5 mile trek back to the helicopter and to safety. What a hero there.
Your reporter, Tori Apodaca, has been inside the fire lines all day and shows us the scene.
On our drive along Highway 32 East on Sunday, we were still seeing a lot of fire activity. You can see behind us here all of that smoke rising in the distance, even some flames as fire crews continue to hit this fire hard. Fierce flames ripping across 4 Northern California counties. Large plumes of smoke giving the summer sky an orange glow as fire crews use every tactic from air attack to dozers rolling through the thick of the forest. Public Information Officer for CAL FIRE, Blanca Mercado, says what they call a lid was sitting over the fire much of Sunday.
Because the lid lifted and now all that fire activity, anything that's been sleeping, kind of like a smoke that's been sleeping, now has the ability to take off.
She says when a lid lifts, more oxygen can get into the area, equaling more erratic fire activity. Right now we are just off of Highway 32 near Butte Meadows, where you can see an active backburn operation happening behind us here. You can see the flames from that burn. Firefighters saying that this is really the tactic they use when tackling these large of wildfires because of how much terrain they have to cover.
With a little bit more moisture in the air and a little bit cooler temperatures, we can fight fire a little bit more aggressively with the boots on the ground because it's not as hot.
And that's exactly what we saw. Boots on the ground from fire crews up and down the state as a park fire forced thousands to evacuate and Lassen National Park to close.
This whole area being that's the way the fire was actually moving.
Mercado walked us through the route the fire has taken since it exploded, moving in a V shape east of where it originated near Chico.
Down here we do have black line already down here, kind of button it up. That's why we were able to lift some of the warnings down here.
The blaze already taking out at least 100 structures believed to be in Butte County. But the priority continues to be protecting communities as it spreads.
Our area of concern is really all over this fire. I mean, with the erratic fire behavior that we've been having over the last couple days, it could do anything.
The people living in these communities are really no strangers to fires, most recently going through the Dixie Fire in 2021, burning in a relatively similar area. Fire crews, though, are continuing to tackle it hard as they work towards full containment.
In your house down there, too?